Models and Agents, episode 43 for May 9th, 2026. Your daily AI briefing. Lots of news to walk through. Let's start with what actually matters. DeepSeek V4's full paper reveals FP4 quantization-aware training running directly in late-stage MOE optimization with minimal quality loss. The complete technical paper from DeepSeek adds important details that were only previewed in April. It covers FP4 quantization-aware training, anticipatory routing for stability, and generative reward modeling. Anthropic shared alignment methods that cut agentic misalignment by more than 3 times. OpenAI published updates on automated systems to prevent chain-of-thought grading during reinforcement learning. Calabi launched as a new embedded vector database aimed at agent memory workloads. These threads point to real engineering progress on efficiency and reliability, rather than just bigger models. DeepSeek released the full V4 paper this week with expanded sections on its trillion-parameter mixture of experts architecture. The key technique applies FP4 quantization-aware training directly to expert weights during late-stage training. This targets the main consumer of GPU memory while keeping the query key path in the CSA indexer on FP4 activations. The result is a 2x speedup on the query key selector at 99.7% recall. 2 stability mechanisms help avoid loss spikes, anticipatory routing that desynchronizes model and router updates, plus SWIDLU clamping. Human evaluations show the V4 Pro variant achieving a 62.7% win rate over Gemini 3.1 Pro on Chinese writing tasks. 52% of users rated it ready as their default coding model. Efficiency tables indicate V4 Pro uses 27% of baseline floating point operations and 10% of baseline key value cache, compared with V3.2. Developers building multi-agent systems or long context inference should look at these FP4 details for possible cost changes. On the model side, a new uncensored fine-tune of Chuan 3.635 BA3B preserves all 19 native multi-token prediction tensors. It reaches a Kullback-Leibler divergence of 0.0015 with only 10 out of 100 refusals. The release includes safe tensors, GGUF NVFP, 4 experts only, and GPTQ int4 variants. Benchmarks confirm the full multi-token prediction structure remains intact, giving an open option for less restricted reasoning without losing capabilities. Anthropic reported that high-quality constitutional documents paired with aligned fictional stories reduced agentic misalignment by more than 3 times. The gains held even when the added material was unrelated to the evaluation scenario. Simple training data diversification by adding unrelated tools and prompts to a harmlessness dataset also lowered blackmail rates. These interventions stack with standard harmlessness training and need no changes to core evaluation setups. Calabi is a single pip install embedded vector store built for AI agent and retrieval augmented generation workloads. It supports HNSW, DiskANN, and IVF plus PQ indexes with native text plus vector unification and disk persistence. The library outperforms PG Vector by 4 times on equivalent hardware and handles datasets larger than RAM without the restart failures common to pure in-memory libraries like FASIS. Multi-index isolation and tag-based filtering make it suitable for managing agent memory across sessions. GitHub Spec Kit offers an open-source workflow for spec-driven development with AI coding agents. It moves teams away from iterative vibe coding towards structured specifications that agents execute against. The toolkit has accumulated 93,000 stars and pairs with frameworks like AWS Kiro and GSD to reduce regressions in production code. Developers can adopt the repository immediately for more reliable agent-generated outputs. One community thread explores local large language models for German practice focused on conversational correction rather than translation. The discussion covers system prompt setups that provide real-time feedback without external APIs, and ways to avoid context bloat from tool use. Builders working on language learning agents can review the thread for prompt patterns and context management tips. A separate roundup evaluates 9 artificial intelligence tools for spec-driven development in 2026. It includes Kiro's ear-structured IDE and lean frameworks like GSD that reach 61,000 stars in under 5 months. The guide contrasts iterative prompting with structured spec workflows that produce code surviving review more reliably. Teams shipping production agent code should test at least one of the highlighted open source options this week. If you have not tried Calibre yet, install it via pip this week and test its disk and index with tag filtering on a sample agent memory dataset. You will see 4 times throughput gains over PG Vector without managing a full Postgres instance. Download one of the Chuan 3.6 35 billion artificial intelligence 3 billion uncensored GGUF or NEV FP4 variants and run a quick multi-token prediction preservation benchmark. This lets you evaluate refusal rates on your preferred tasks. Clone the GitHub spec kit repository and convert one of your current agent prompts into a structured spec. Compare the output consistency against your existing iterative workflow. Experiment with Anthropic-style constitutional documents plus fictional aligned stories in your next harmlessness fine-tune. Measure the misalignment reduction on agentic evaluations. Keep an eye on further FP4 quantization-aware training experiments from other mixture of experts labs following DeepSeek's stability mechanisms. Expect more embedded vector libraries to adopt unified text plus vector storage as agent memory demands grow beyond simple retrieval-augmented generation. Spec-driven agent frameworks will likely see additional IDE integrations as teams move away from pure vibe coding approaches fast. Open-source uncensored multi-token prediction models may prompt new safety evaluation benchmarks focused on preserved reasoning traces. Okay, let's pop the hood on the Calibre database approach. Everyone talks about vector databases as simple store embeddings and retrieve systems. In practice, unifying raw text and dense vectors inside a single embedded engine requires careful buffer pool design and index co-location that most standalone vector libraries avoid. The core insight is that agent memory rarely needs pure vector search. Developers constantly cross-reference semantic matches with metadata tags, timestamps, or raw context snippets. Calibre's approach keeps both in the same page-organized buffer pool, so a single query can filter on tags while performing approximate nearest neighbor search without round-tripping between a vector index and a separate key value store. This eliminates the serialization overhead and consistency problems that appear when agents maintain separate vector and relational components. The trade-off is that the unified store adds modest memory overhead per index compared with a pure FAS in-memory graph. Yet it removes the restart and rebuild penalty that kills long-running agent sessions. When your workload involves millions of vectors that must survive process restarts and support dynamic tag filtering, the unified design wins. If you only need one-off high-recall batches inside a single Python script with RAM to spare, a lightweight in-memory library remains simpler. Tomorrow, keep an eye on additional FP4 quantization-aware training results from other mixture of experts teams. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.